Okay, so we're gonna start off by trying to put a definition, explanation to fibromyalgia and what it actually is. First of all, it is not characterized as a disease. The medical profession never refers to fibromyalgia as a disease. If anything, they will say that it is a disorder, an autoimmune disorder. Um, and it's characterized by muscle pain, not joint pain, but muscle pain, tenderness in your, just to touch your skin, and of course, fatigue. And it's a disorder that usually you have memory, sleep, and mood issues. Researchers believe the condition arises from an overactive nervous system which amplifies painful sensations. That means that your nervous system that tells you what's going on with your body when you feel something touching you. Now, if it hurts, if it's painful, then your nervous system is what generates that emotion to your brain. However, with fibromyalgia, our nervous system is amplified, is turned up, like the volume on a stereo system. If you turn it all the way up, that's how our nervous system is. And so you feel everything with a great intensity because it's max, right? So you, for some reason, if your muscles get tired or they start to ache, well, you're going to feel that all over, and it's going to be very painful for you. So that can happen with your arms, with your legs, just about anywhere in your body, across here, across your chest. You just can have those sensations anywhere. Also, one other thing that I tend to have and notice is my skin. Sometimes it's very painful to the air. Can't, yeah, go figure, right? I have to wear at certain times wear long sleeves, and or if I'm at home and the air conditioner is on, I have a real thick robe that I put on, or I have to have my arms under the covers because the air, just outside air, not necessarily the air conditioning, just the what do you call it, the environment, so the air, it stings and it burns. That's the only way I can describe it. And that's another thing about fibromyalgia also. One of the things too is it's very difficult to diagnose. As those of you who've gone through it, I know that you're aware of that. You can't do blood work to see if you have it. You can't take x-rays to see if you have it. CAT scans, none of that shows up. And then the other thing is that in the early stages of fibromyalgia, the symptoms, I want to say, mimic or are very similar to other conditions. So because those other conditions are more prevalent and have been around and diagnosed more than fibromyalgia, doctors tend to lean toward those other conditions. But sometimes the symptoms can start with a trigger, without a trigger. It can gradually get worse. It can come on and last for a little while, or it can linger. Sometimes you can have a flare-up for days or weeks even, and it's not fun, right? It's not fun. But knowing what this is, it helps us to be able to monitor our symptoms. And if you feel like that's something, could be something that you have fibromyalgia and you haven't been diagnosed, the good thing is that if you go to your doctor, say your GP, then you can ask them to refer you to a rheumatologist, and they will be able to determine whether or not it's fibromyalgia or it's some other condition. Also, I've been told and I've read that physical trauma can cause fibromyalgia and bring it on, and also if you have significant psychological stress, not talking about your daily everyday stress that everybody goes through, but significant stress from some horrible event that's going on in your life, that can trigger it. I years ago had a pretty bad automobile accident where someone ran into me, and I was in a little car in the Volkswagen Bug, and they rammed me really bad, and I started having back problems after that for years. I've always had back problems since then. My doctor has done x-rays and told me that his words were, your back is a mess. So I know that my back is arthritic, and I have to monitor that along with the fibromyalgia. There's no cure for fibromyalgia, but they have developed routines for people who are afflicted by it, so that you can at least manage your days and be able to kind of function. I have to tell you, if you have fibromyalgia to the extent that I do, your whole life gets changed. I mean, everything is just, sometimes you have to put things on hold. You may go days, weeks without being able to even visit your friends or go shopping or grocery shopping. It's okay, but we'll get into that later. Right now, it's about what fibromyalgia is. So, to recap, it's not a disease. It is considered a syndrome or a disorder. The characteristics are muscle pain, tenderness, and fatigue. Those are the three top ones. There are, of course, many other symptoms that are associated with it. Some people have, say you may have the muscle pain, but you don't have the tenderness, or you have the fatigue, but you don't have, something else. So it's difficult to determine whether or not what you have is a fibromyalgia disorder. But find the right rheumatologist like I did. You'll be in good hands, and they can develop a routine for you. You can do exercises. I had to do the aqua in the water because just on surface, and it's too much stress on my muscles, and so that will cause a flare-up and more pain. So, but if I go to therapy and do the water exercises, that works much better. So I've done those when I get bad off. I do those off and on. That plus medication and relaxation. Relaxation techniques. I've learned some of those, and I still am learning them. The problem, I think, is that when you're in the middle of a flare-up, you don't feel like exercising. You don't feel like trying to breathe and close your eyes and relax. You just want the pain to go away. And sometimes it's so intense that you just want to take medication and just take medication. Take it from me that if you're on that route, work really hard to change that, to add in the exercises, even if it's just a little walking. I don't always do it, but at times I do go and walk around the block in my neighborhood. Sometimes I can get several laps in, and that's a good day. Also, I do stretching exercises, and I'm trying to add in, like I said, the relaxation techniques. So I am branching out, trying to cut back on the pain medication. Now, the other medications that I have to, what did they say, tone down or quiet the nervous system, I take those as prescribed because they are very, very helpful. Okay, so we've defined what fibromyalgia is. All right, so we're going to stop here today, and next we're going to start with one of the symptoms, difficulty sleeping, a huge one. And we're going to talk about that, how it affects you, and also what things you can do to improve the amount of sleep you get, also the quality of sleep. That's very, very important, the quality of the sleep that you get, because you can sleep and wake up and you're still exhausted, right? Yeah. So we're going to try to work on that, okay?